Okay, so today's agenda will be two things. One, we'll take a look at the Sprint 5 status. The plan was to do a 1.0 release today, so let's see if we're ready for that. And then let's see where we're at with the adapter work. Let's see how close we are to release. Okay, so looking at VOLTHA Sprint 5, let me update mine. Okay, it looks like for VOLTHA Sprint 5, we've got 1, 2, 3 stories. So let's see where we're at. So as an operator, I need to enable configuration of DHCP relay to add per subscriber option 82 values. Is David back yet? Does anyone know?
Yes, he is back.
Okay, you're on the call.
That one's done. Yeah, that one's done.
Okay.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Went silent. I was a little concerned there.
I just wanted to make sure we updated the status. That's good. And then we're down to DHCP and IGMP. Any updates on this one?
I thought all those got marked done.
I just refreshed my board, so no? So this is also done?
Wait. This one, DHCP in place. This one, maybe not. Okay, Amit's working that one. You'd have to ask Amit.
No, I think Amit said they already submitted the code, and I think Jono was. Oh, Jono is on vacation this week, right?
Yes, and then Saraf was going to take a look at it, but I'm not sure where he's at. So
yeah, he mentioned yesterday that he's going to take a look at this, right?
Yeah.
I can take a look at this one today as well.
Okay, that would be great if we can get it reviewed and closed out.
Okay.
So based upon this was kind of our last item, at least per this list.
I thought there was one more.
And it was the
hey,
one
David.
where...
Sorry, I had one question, follow-up question to David on that. Do you know if the status adaptation for IGMP proxy is already done?
So Amit and I talked about that a while ago, and we were wondering if we did adapt it, status in IGMP, if we were actually going to get redundant configuration data, because we would also have to back out the data from the device, the OLT application, right? It'd be duplicate data. And when we looked at that, we said that's probably something we don't want to do. We're not going to have time for this sprint, because we have to resolve where the actual authoritative data is going to be. And so I think we just decided it doesn't make sense. Leave the data where it is now, because it's well known, and then we have to decide how to move that out with a little more thought.
Okay, so just to summarize, what you're saying is that the IGMP proxy configuration, the REST APIs would still use the old method and not status. Yes. Is that okay?
That's for now, but for probably in future sprints, we'll want to change that. But it looked like it was just going to be a little bit too much work and might break other existing things.
Okay. Okay. So there's a README in the proxy which already has information about the old method to configure. So maybe it'll be good to take a look at it to see if it's still up to date, because I think since then we've added some things like, I guess, the connect point and stuff. So it'd be nice to review that to see if it's still in line with what is needed.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so Sean, the only other open story was this one, and we had decided that it was not going to be a blocker for the release.
Okay.
So I guess based upon where we're currently at, do we feel that by end of day we're going to be able to do a release for VOLTHA 1.0?
You say release, you mean release branch? Bug fix is still allowed, right?
1.0 release means released for 1.0, and then we'll have the support branch. I think the gotcha though is that we're doing the adapter work on master. So bug fixes probably, I think this is where it'll get interesting, right? Because if we were to do start of testing, it should be on VOLTHA 1.0. So bug fixes should go there, be cherry picked back to master.
Correct.
And then once the adapter work is done, we'll have that build, and then that can go into testing. And then after that, I think bug fixes should go into there and then be cherry picked back to master.
Yep. The point being, it's not really released. We're just cutting a release branch to which we can do bug fixes at this point.
We're cutting a release. So we'll have a support branch and we'll have a 1.0 version, right? And then after that, what we'll do is we'll have bug fixes, and we can do a 1.0.1 if we wanted to. But I don't think that'll really happen unless we need subsequent released images for testing. I think what'll happen is with the adapter work coming, a week or two later, we're going to do a 1.1, and then I think there may be a maintenance 1.1.1 for like testing.
Might we want to search for bugs against VOLTHA right now to see if there's any bugs that have been logged that haven't been put in this sprint, actively developed in this sprint, that we want to close before we release them?
So people have been adding bugs to the sprint as they've come up. So are there any other bugs that the team is aware of that isn't?
That's why I was going to just do a JIRA search to see. And then we can, with Sean here, we can say, are any of these high enough priority that we want to pull them in?
Okay, guess what? Okay.
So, yeah.
Do we have a quick filter? I don't know if I have a quick filter for bugs.
You could search for issues, and then project equals VOLTHA, and I think it's type equals bug.
Yeah. Okay.
Then open status here.
Progress to do. So we have a list of them. Docker version does not seem to be latest in VOLTHA VM. Encryption is causing many issues on VOLTHANet. Some of these are actually in progress. So I guess the question I have is, are people still working on bugs that aren't in the sprint? Can we? Because I see some.
Yeah, I'm working on VOLTHA 400, but I don't know if you consider that a bug. It's debatable.
So that was the one of the ones we discussed, and
yes,
the plan was to support that. But are there any other ones that we're not aware of that has not been discussed that people are actively working on?
mean, if some of those are marked in progress in that list, I clicked on one that was in progress.
Yes. No, I see that. And I guess I'm trying to figure out if items are in progress, that means someone's working on it. So if no one's responding, that means no one is working on it?
Or they're not here.
That seems, looks like when something is in progress, but there's no assignee, that seems a little bit odd. I don't think we should have that. Because if it's in progress, who's working on it?
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So let's just go through the in progress ones and see where we're at. So encryption is causing many issues on VoltaNet. Is Sergio on?
No, he's on PTO till the 5th, I think.
So this is highest, which implies a blocker and unresolved.
Are there more details? I mean,
Is Ken helping him on this one?
I don't know.
Okay.
Again, I just got back myself, so I have to sneak up on you. But I'm not.
Yeah, Ken submitted a code review on 407, I think, today.
He disabled encryption as of yesterday. I saw that.
Okay.
Maybe there's a yeah.
Yeah, that was yesterday. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He disabled encryption, but I think he's still working on getting it with the VoltaNet.
So I guess I'm trying to understand the process better. So I thought we were focused on issues that were in Sprint 5. So are these issues not considered part of Sprint 5 and not relevant to the release?
I think these probably found. I think these probably found during the system integration test. I would just assume that system integration is that Sprint 5 or
yes.
Okay.
Right, we've been stretching out the sprint to account for defects found and to also address them.
I think this comes down to, do we expect encryption on the network for the release? If so, then I think this needs to be addressed.
Right, but I would say for the lab field trial, for the phase 3. So he disabled it. Does it stop the issue so people can move forward, or I mean, is it something just enable, disable? Is disable then everything back to normal?
There was a comment there that I just didn't see. It's talked about disabling.
Yeah, as of yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, David.
No,
yeah,
no,
no. What I see is it's disabled. We are trying it right now. This was just pushed yesterday late night, I guess. So we'd have to characterize it more.
My assumption is if we're having problems with the encrypted net and disable the encryption, those latency issues likely, but I agreed they need testing, are resolved. But it also means your network isn't encrypted at this point. So there's a customer call, Sean. I think, what do you want?
No, I would say, okay, fine. The for the phase 3, since that's in the lab environment, I don't expect to be fixed for. I think that's not a blocker.
Okay.
For 02. Boon log shows exceptions while formatting log output. Looks like all the Gary reviews are merged. It's a medium bug.
Yeah. Look at this is one that's in progress but unassigned. So look at the history and see who committed it in progress. Maybe it was Ken.
Well, yeah, you can also look at the commits and see who's actually committed code.
Yeah, it looks like probably Ken is owning.
I would assign this to Ken if nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's clearly working on it here. And did this get merged? So
It is merged.
Merged.
So let's assign this to Ken, and hope he'll get an email at that point. And I should have brought a pen and paper. In this world of computers, I need to find a text editor.
So it's a medium issue. It's a medium issue. Do we expect this to be a blocker?
Well, it may already be done, right? And if
But
it's
if
done,
it's
it's
already
definitely not a
merged,
blocker.
and if it's already merged, it's not an issue, right?
Right, so let me see if I can get a hold of Ken today. And chase that one down.
This is so weird. It shows off the screen.
That is weird.
Well, we'll do this and then hopefully it.
Hit the right one. It's his icon, I think. If you look at the little picture there, that's, I think, the icon he uses.
That is just funky.
Guess I should say avatar. That's more correct.
Okay. So if it's in, it's in. If it's not, it's a medium. Do we expect it to be a blocker? I guess what I'm trying to say is if it's not merged, do we move on?
I don't know its effect on functionality, so it's from a tech perspective, it's hard to judge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think David was going to follow up on this, right?
Yeah. I'll add comments to the JIRA.
Can you get an update to us today?
I will get you an update, even if that update says I can't get a hold of them.
Optimize console cluster configuration to better support HA.
I know he's been working on that for a while. I didn't know he had any more outstanding work. Any more details? Is there a description?
I thought the update from Sergio was that all HA issues were resolved.
I thought that was the last two. And this is Rich, right? All right, volume was 394. Rich status. He's got two commits against it. Those commits merged.
Yep.
Okay. Let me again try to get a hold of him. Add the same comment you added for 402. I'll play nag today.
But it seems like they commit and merge. That should be closed, right?
I mean, they might have other outstanding commits depending on how they're doing it. But yeah, in general, I would say yes. But
there might be one more bit of testing you have to do after it's all in there. So
in theory, you do it before that, but
yeah.
Another in progress with no one assigned. Also
no
medium. There is. Merged.
Srisha, do you know about this one? It's already +2, right?
It's been merged, yeah.
Yeah, it's been merged.
Sorry, I was talking on mute. This has been merged a long time back and already moved to done. I'm not sure. Am I looking at the wrong one? 343. Let me just check.
353.
353.
It is interesting because
The subject is
Yeah,
343.
this has been merged a long time back, so I think it should be closed. Let's see. Yeah, I will go ahead and do that right now.
But what I don't get
Mark it done.
is 353.
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind
It-
of weird. The commit messages are against 343. Could be just a typo though.
Yeah, I believe it's a typo. That's probably what happened. So yeah, I just moved it to done. Yeah, that's already been fixed a long time back.
And then disabling and re-enabling PONSIM after a VOLTHA restart fails.
287. This is also same. Niren, are you on the call? This is done, right? It's been long done and merged.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
It was
I'm moved to
missed
done.
to close. Okay.
Yeah, I think we forgot to close it. Yeah, just did that. Yeah.
Okay. Stopping and restarting VOLTHA causes issues for OF agent and shovel. This was back in April and May.
Wow. That's even before VOLTHA 1 started.
Is there any commits?
Nope.
No. So this might just need to be a retest and see if this really still exists.
Well, Donna, is that from Sienna, from Redis's?
Sienna.
Sienna.
This one? No, I think she was probably just tracking it at the time. It didn't come from Radius.
No, yeah, right now we're still showing as a Sienna.
124. Again, stopping and restarting VOLTHA causes issues for OFH and shovel. If there's been no commits on it, I think this might just be a retest, see if it still exists.
But this is pretty old, right? 124, and then I'm sure you guys have been doing the starting and restart for a long time, right? This is April 14th. That's
Right.
April 17th.
My assumption is, yeah, right. My assumption is it's no longer an issue, but until you retest, sure. I feel a little.
Yeah.
It just says not able to reproduce it, and they'll keep an eye on it, right? So maybe this is just can be closed since it hasn't anything shown up for all this time.
Yeah, you'd think other people would be screaming about this if it was an issue. That's why I would hope just a real quick retest, and I'll see if I can get someone to retest it. And if so, then we can, I don't know, do we have a status of for bugs cannot reproduce?
I'm not sure what the workflow for this one is.
Okay.
Or so if we ask whether people has been doing the restarting VOLTHA has encountered this issue or not, and this is before HA come in, right?
Yeah, it is. So again, I can't imagine this is still an issue, but
right.
If we want to be thorough, you retest. If we want to be expedient, we just close it, and if someone runs into it again, we open another one.
Okay, so we're down to 4.
Be expedient. Did I just hear you say be expedient, Sean?
Huh?
No, that was me.
Okay. Okay.
Let's be expedient. I go for that.
I think if we were just down to that, I think that means we close it and open another one if we see the issue again.
If they're hard to, especially that's pre VOLTHA 1.0. I'm okay with closing it, and then yeah. Wow, when I was back to my day of testing EMS, I would never let that to be close. Oh, how the age will change my mind.
Yeah.
It's your standard.
Or I found myself right now. I'm on the developer side.
It looks like we don't have a workflow to put it on a
Because
watch.
it's just done. We can have Luca modify it.
Yeah, for bugs in
Yeah, we should have
nice to have a cannot reproduce.
Yeah, I'll have Luca modify it. We
Right.
had Cord modified recently to more closely follow the ONO's workflow.
Hi, and actually,
Good.
there's one more ticket that needs to be in or needed. It's 389, I believe. It's in. I mean, the code has been already submitted for that. It's not merged yet. It's in the review process. Is it 389, Niren? Yeah, 389. Yeah. I think it'll be good to pull it into the sprint.
Yes, it.
It's not
that's
listed as a
weird.
bug. It's not
Is
a
it?
bug though.
It's not. Is it written as a bug? I don't know
story.
who wrote it. Yeah, actually, it's a
389
story, to be
is a
honest.
story.
It is a story, but yeah. So this is something, and Niren just applied a patch, and I think most of the people agreed with the patch. There was one small review comment about adding a comment. So I think we're uploading the new patch on that. So Niren, do you want this to be assigned to you? I mean, since you're working on it anyway.
Yes. Then I will close it after.
Yeah, is that okay? Girish or Kim or somebody who's.
Yes, that's fine.
But we're saying this is needed for the release.
Yeah.
And then change the assign to Niren.
Yeah, it's true that it's a story in the VOLTHA core, but I guess we can leave it like that. We don't have to change it to a bug because it's it's not really a bug. I don't think it was done. That feature was never there in the VOLTHA core to start with, so it makes sense that it's a story.
Do we need to assign it to the Sprint 5? Put it in there, or
You should.
Means you don't want to close this sprint until that's finished. They finished the review.
Yes, I think that was the gotcha with other ones too. Is we're trying to figure out if the other ones should be in Sprint 5, right?
They're bug fixes. They depends. Well, if we're really cutting a release and saying what we cut today, the support branch and tag as a release is the release, then any bug fix that comes after today goes into VOLTHA 1.0.1, not VOLTHA 1.0.0.
Yes, because these issues were not flagged as Sprint 5. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, are they needed for the release?
Most of them, well, there's two, I guess, outstanding, and they may be done. And as soon as I get a hold of people, if they're done, we can put them in the sprint and consider them done.
Because
Right.
we said 407 was fine. We didn't need it for the release. I think the outstanding ones were 402 and 394. And then I think the question is whether we bother putting them in Sprint 5 at this point.
Well, if the code's been merged and complete, technically it wasn't Sprint 5.
Agreed.
And so, I mean, I don't care whether it's in. The question is, do we want it as part of, do we want to consider them closed? If we don't consider them closed, then we have to make the choice, are they required for release 1 or not. And if they're required for release 1, then we have to hold up the support branch or hold up the release process until they're complete. Do some.
Okay.
Fortunately, I think there's an outing in Canada today for the team.
Outing?
Involving little white balls and long metal clubs that used to be made of wood.
What's that?
It's like,
Okay.
Yeah. It's
So for the
campus wide event or something.
The to-do list. We have a list of items in to-do. I guess the question is, do we need any of these? Medium, medium, high,
403, that's a what?
highest.
Oh. 403 seems to be kind of dangerous, right?
Let's see, 2 days ago. This was,
That doesn't sound good.
I think this is result of integration testing. So
Well, there was a issue about the install script. The Ansible scripts did not actually point to the right Docker version. They were still using an older Docker version, I think. That's also why it was found. Yeah.
408.
408. So I'm not sure if 403 is related to the same or something different. Yeah.
so does Radisys have an update? Where this was found by Radisys, it's currently unassigned.
yeah, that was discovered as part of integration testing, HA stuff. So it looks like it may be related with something else that's already been fixed. It would be good to have Sergio's opinion on this one, but we can't get it right now.
So who else can assess whether this is a blocker for us?
Okay.
So can we assign to Sergio and also the 408? I mean,
Not if we
Sergio
want it
right now,
resolved.
it's not going to be done. Yeah. Well, can you go to the description of the log? So he's just saying the installer failed on the latest code. So he did a build, tried to build the installer, tried to run the installer, and it failed.
There's just the log.
I used to do real coding. Now I spend my life in Jira.
So we'll assign it to you, David. You can let the logs.
You know, I really love coding. Okay, where's our QA department? We can just say, hey, can you run this, try this?
I encourage you to establish one.
Yeah. Was that you volunteering to do that?
Oh, no. I'm doing this so that you can spend time in Jira and I go back to coding. So.
Yeah, I guess it needs to be assigned to the team that's in charge of vInstaller and HA, right? And within that team, they can decide who needs to look at it. I'm not sure who, like, the implementation authority for that is. Can we just assign it to them so we don't need to look at the details?
That translates, hey, can I just give this to someone else and not worry about it? Okay.
No,
not really, but I mean, just for the sake of time, instead of going over the logs.
We need someone to just triage this and determine whether this is an issue.
I hate myself for this. Throw it at me.
You could have been off another couple of days.
I know. By the way, I just got word from Rich, 394, it's done.
Maybe Ken can take a look at this one.
No, well, he's not responding. the 394 is done, so we got one of them. And I'll at least run.
Maybe they already closed it.
Maybe.
Yeah, he did. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'll run through the bug that just got assigned to, or whatever it is, to me, and I'll at least try to reproduce it and see if we're doing the same things. What time zone is Sedation?
He's India time, so.
Okay. So if I have,
but yeah, you have time to do it. Is just, you know, if you could just run the installer, if you see it, yes. If not, then we can, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Right. No, you don't need to try to track it down. Just confirm, yes, we see it, and then we'll have to go from there.
Yeah, if it's confirmed as a bug, then I think the priority on this goes, well, it is highest priority.
High. Yeah.
3 days ago, we've got Ulta not able to send events alarms to Kafka in clustered mode.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, this would be kind of surprising.
Yeah. Even though
Yes,
if this is the framework break, right? So
I'm wondering, so there was another issue, no, it was with Fluent D's issue with the exception in it. Again, this one is another one.
I think there's
triage.
there's been a lot of churn in that code in that recent 1 week. I mean, so I think it'd be better to actually get Sergio's input on this, to be honest.
You're not going to get it. Well, he may log on. He may log on tonight. I don't know, but I can try to give him a ping.
Who else do we have?
Well, right now we need a triage on this, right?
Yes.
We need to look at it.
Yep.
And a test team to verify. I hate myself still. Put it on me. Let me see what I can do with it. It may just.
when did Sergio started taking vacation? Yet that's just today, right?
No, he was on PTO yesterday too.
I thought I received a response from him yesterday.
Yeah, he doesn't do PTO well.
Okay, so we'll go through the other priority items. Docker version does not seem to be latest in VOLTHA VM. It's a medium priority. Do we see this as an issue?
Is that a requirement?
I mean, as long as it's working. I mean, no one ever runs the latest and greatest forever, right?
Okay, I'll note it's on a blocker. We'll move on.
From a requirement, we're going to have to specify what we expect for the target environment. I think is what we're going to have to deal with.
Right now we said 14.4 above, right? I think the Sergio did say 16.4 should be the target. But
well, that's Ubuntu. That's Ubuntu.
Oh, that's Ubuntu. Oh, yeah, that Ubuntu. Yes. Sorry.
Okay. But again, I agree. Not an issue. All right.
Docker log files can grow unbounded.
It is what it is, right? There are settings that you can put in.
That shouldn't be a blocker. I don't
know.
No.
I have a comment here. I feel like this is a blocker because it depends on how long you want to run VOLTHA for. I mean, you know, if you're talking about a lab or a field trial, you want it to be running for weeks, months, perhaps more than that, and it cannot.
But not for 1.0, right? Yes,
clearly
not
it needs to be fixed.
Not blocker for 1.0, so maybe that's something they can put in the 1.0.
Yeah,
target 1.1
or 1.2, right? So
the good news is this could be configured via the compose file, so it's a text edit on the compose file. It shouldn't be any code changes.
And we
Yeah,
could-
that's true. That's true that it's the compose file change, but I also would like to understand what the logging solution is. Are we going to get a log server from somewhere that the customer is going to provide us, or we have to?
Risha,
There's
can you take?
much more.
Can you?
can we take this offline, or maybe
No. What I'm
for
saying.
future?
Keep. Yeah. We're going to deal with the next release planning. So I think that's a good. That's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, we talked about this one. We talked about that one. So the global and local gRPC handlers should be started after the reconcile process. Medium.
I wouldn't see this as a blocker. There are if it's a time wait, it's a workaround. It always got merged code to it too.
Yeah.
Including, yeah, it looks to me that it's done too. 399.
It's unassigned, Ken.
But he's committed to it. I would assign it to Ken since he did the work. That'll teach him to commit code against a Jira.
And then is it done?
Well, I can't answer that. Well, I can answer that. It just may or may not be correct. I'll reach out to Ken on that issue as well. Again, I don't think he's going to be online.
Netconf and OF agent limit production logs to fluentd only.
I would do the same thing, assign to Ken. He did the commits, obviously. Well, I'm guessing really, but. And again, it looks like there's code merged.
Yeah.
Okay, standalone REST interface should expose while not port on localhost.
Oh, so this is me. Not a blocker.
So we agree that Swagger is not needed for POC3.
POC 3. I think that is the case. We should be using Envoy for everything now, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if Envoy has Swagger built into it or not, but
I don't believe it does.
yeah. So okay, if that's okay, then.
Srisha, is that
fine.
related to that
Sean...
chameleon? Is that related to that chameleon thing?
Yeah, Chameleon is, I mean, what right now we're not using Chameleon. There are proxy ports available through Envoy of 8443 for HTTPS and 8882 for HTTP. But then what is missing is Swagger. So that's why I was asking, is it okay if there's no Swagger for POC3?
I guess I probably, is Omkar on the call?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand that, do we require Swagger?
But I'm not very familiar with Envoy, but if Envoy already has a Swagger interface, then I think that should be fine.
I think it doesn't. I think that was the issue. Are you guys using Swagger?
Sorry, I missed that.
Right. So maybe they have it before, and then because of the HA, right now, I think Surisha, is that for the standalone, then you don't have Swagger at all? No, well, Chameleon cannot be used for the standalone.
Chameleon, I think, has been kicked to the curb.
Yes. Right, yeah, Chameleon is not used anymore. We are all using Envoy. But
Okay.
we are right now trying to figure out the JSON and use curl scripts, and that's why I was asking if that's okay, or you wanted some sort of a Swagger interface to look at stuff. So
Or really, the Swagger doesn't need to be in the build. It could be run external.
right, it could be offline as well. Yeah, it can be offline as well.
Okay.
I don't see the necessity for it being part of the package.
And okay, then that I think as long as there will be a way for people to review things. I mean, I'm just guessing what would be the impact. So I would expect there will be maybe sort of the procedure or documentation regarding to how we can do things. I think then that's fine.
Yeah. It's still going to generate a spec file, right? And that can be loaded from a remote install of Swagger. Correct?
I think is that a question to Surisha or Dave Benbridge?
Well, ideally, yes, we can do it offline. Sorry. Ideally, it would be good to get a Swagger spec, but I think it would be good for Sergio or somebody from his team to answer that, because I think he mentioned that there is some difference in JSON that is generated by Swagger that's used in Chameleon versus what is used in Envoy. I guess it's not like a big difference, but the way some lowercase versus uppercase kind of issue for certain things. So I think it would be better. It's a better question for Sergio than me, to be honest.
So I don't know if Ken's out today, so we're not going to get any response from Ken. I'll augment the JIRAs that I have to update on him. Hopefully he'll get back tonight. I'll send some emails out about that. Again, Sergio doesn't do PTO well, so he may be online. And see what I can find out. If either there is a Swagger interface, which I don't think there is, or if Envoy can somehow export its JSON schema, if you will. So that, because I assume that's what you're looking for, is just what are the data objects I have to pass back and forth.
Yeah, just a JSON schema is probably the best transport mechanism for that.
So we actually have quite a few more in the list.
That is quite a few more.
So maybe we can try to get through these real quick. Looks like these were all submitted very recently. REST in standalone mode only supports HTTPS.
What additional one it should support?
HTTP. Chameleon is no longer alive, so I think this might be a retest issue.
Can we not? So this is not an issue if we're not using Chameleon, right?
As long as we currently have HTTP and HTTPS access through Envoy, I think we're okay.
We have had to move to Envoy, use Envoy. Chameleon doesn't work anymore,
Right.
So we are not using Chameleon anymore.
And you're getting HTTP and HTTPS through Envoy?
I did not try HTTP, but 8443 through Envoy works. I can try 8882.
Yeah.
I've not tried that.
If we care about HTTP access, then this just needs a retest against Envoy.
Sean?
Huh?
Do we care about HTTP access?
Or only the secure?
Wouldn't that be the better thing?
Yeah, if I
I
had
don't
a
know.
preference, it would be HTTP.
All right. Let's close it.
HTTPS. Yeah, it's fine.
So we'll say not a blocker, but should retest.
Is there a requirement ever to have non-encrypted HTTP?
And by the way, is this okay? Blaine, is that everything AT&T would like to have the more secure version, right?
Yeah, security is critical.
Yeah. Do you care if it supports non-secure HTTP?
As long as it can be disabled. So,
With
for
disabling
testing
it,
purposes, I think
yeah.
HTTP is handy.
So I guess
most of our
Listening on port 80 or what.
All right.
I think what David is asking is there's no certificate validation right now. It's, you have to do it with minus key
HTTPS.
option,
Yeah.
HTTPS with no validation. That's what he's asking. Is it okay?
Oh,
Is that right, David?
No. I'm talking HTTP, and right now HTTP, non-encrypted isn't. I don't know if it's tested. When this bug was filed, the issue was actually I was working with someone from I can't remember who I was working with anymore. It was Nokia or Radisys, and that was the issue, that the HTTP wasn't working. But if no one cares that HTTP works or not, then I think this is closed. If we want to have it, then I think it's a non-blocker, and we need to retest.
We're going to use secure. If HTTP is not, it kind of is confusing why HTTP would not be working, but HTTPS is working. But
Yeah.
So can we just note not a blocker for VOLTHA v1.0
Yeah.
and then need to retest HTTP with Envoy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
I don't think that's a significant issue. So.
Okay, so I do have to end this, end the call. I think we still seem to have some issues.
Are we going to cut the release?
I don't think we can until we decide we have some issues. We need to find our proven closed before we cut a release, I think.
So I guess, can we have some folks go through this list and maybe do an initial pass to see if they're supposed to be in Sprint 5? And then for the candidates that are in Sprint 5, we'll see if there are blockers.
So I'll go through. If you email me the filter you're using, I'll go through it. And if people trust my judgment, which maybe they don't, any issue that I find questionable, I'll post to the discuss list.
Okay, it's VOLTHA bug to do.
All right.
And David, feel free to include me and Blaine and Omkar, anybody from AT&T side.
So
Okay.
what are our next steps? We're at our Thursday. Our next meeting isn't until Tuesday. I don't know that we want to wait that long to make some of these calls.
No.
And
I'll
Monday's
get
a holiday.
feedback. Yeah, I'll get feedback on the ones I can. But again, with Ken out, I can't. Without his input, I can't tell if they're actually closed or not. So that's going to be the issue there.
So maybe an update by the end of the day on where we're at, and then that'll determine whether we need to do a call maybe tomorrow.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
We want to do a 15-minute call at the end of the day, or?
Okay. Yeah, let's sync up and see if we need.
We have people in East Coast also, so
yeah,
and we do have a
tomorrow morning.
2 hour tomorrow morning, so maybe we can devote the first 15 minutes for this.
Okay.
Okay, so let's do that. I need to hop off, so thanks everyone.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.